Hey, what's up guys, Theo here. In this video we want to build out sort of this template with Create React App using a hook called useGet, as this might imply. This is just going to be a hook that takes in a URL and it's just going to respond with one argument for now, which is just going to be some data. And then hopefully we can output the data here. We'll just say data here, right? And let's resave this, right? And again, it doesn't have a default export. So I just created this file called useGet. I'm just going to export default right now, a function. It takes in a URL and returns the URL, right, just to satisfy this data here, right? And what is it showing it to us? Well, it's just returning back the URL. It's like a no-op function. Anyways, so what I want to do here, right, is start out with the state, right? And the state's going to just be this this array, right? It's going to call useState, and what we're going to give it, we're just going to give it an empty array, and again, it's going to give us back to us data, and we're going to have a setter called set data. Cool. And now if we just go ahead and return this data, right, then we might look at what we get here, right? We get this empty array. If we do 1, 2, 3, then we should get 1, 2, 3. Cool. All right, awesome. So that's good for that. At the end here, we just want to return data. Now we're going to use another hook called useEffect. And this accepts a function that contains imperative, possibly effectful code. So anything like timers, promises, asynchronous code. So we're just going to call it useEffect, right? And the caveat with this, we're going to use async await in here. For some reason, this function right here, it's kind of not fully implemented to use async await, so we actually have to open up the function body in here, and then we have to write our method. So we're just going to say const response. Actually, sorry, we're going to do this, right? We're going to have this method here called fetch data. It's going to be an asynchronous function, and what's going to happen here is we're just going to call this, right? We're just going to call fetch data, and what's going to happen is we're going to say const response equals await fetch URL, and then let me just put this in here. So the second argument is basically if present effect will only activate if the values in the list change. So we're going to give this an empty array, like we only want it to run once, right? And you could give it any value that's stateful, so that's going to change. We'll just give it once, and so we'll wait the fetch, right? And here, if we look, it's made one call. That's it. Cool. So I believe we can really give this anything. I don't know if it'll work actually if I give it. Yeah, because it's not defined there. But let's see. Yeah. So anything that's stateful, really. Anyway, so we have fetch data right here. Cool. And then what we can do is we'll just check on this property called OK. Not familiar with that. That's basically to check if the request has succeeded. Okay. Cool. And anyways, and we could just look at this if we want. We can look at what's going on here. So what's the response? The response. Okay, response okay. It's just got a little property on it. All right. Anyways, so if it is okay, we'll just do else. If it is okay, then I want to await the JSON, right? So I'll just say data equals await response dot JSON, and let me just look at the data here and see what we get now. Right here it is. There's the data. We got all of this JSON about me. Cool. And then what I want to do here is just set data to be data, right? And then let's just say we pass in data here. Now what's going to happen? Well, it's going to keep running because data keeps changing. So you're kind of entering an infinite loop. So again, this is like a component did update, right? So that's kind of awkward. That's not really what we want. So in this case, we don't want it to run at all. We just want it to run one time. And I think even if we give it nothing, it'll keep running because something's changed, right? So this is basically saying like should component update, don't do it, right? Anyways, so if it's not okay, then actually what a lot of people don't know is when you run, like if this was .catch, the .catch wouldn't actually throw where you think it would throw. That's why we have to check on this, at least with fetch implemented by the web API. Anyway, so let's just throw an error here, right? And we'll just say response.status text. And then what we'll do here, actually we need to wrap this in, what do we need to wrap it in? Try, okay, try, and wrap that, what did I do wrong? Okay, if try, catch, error, okay, try, catch, error, throw error, and then in this case, we don't really need to do anything. We could just log out the error, right? Console.error. We'll just log it out. Clean that up, fetch data. Cool. So if I break this, right, do that, something like that, we can look and see if we hit this error, right? So there it is. It's calling it at 7, and it's calling it at 10. Goes along with response, right? That's the response. And useGet 6, try catch. I do it wrong. Let me see. Response dot okay. Make sure. Response dot okay. Throw error. Response says text. Let me just see if we're actually getting into this error. Are we getting into it? useGet. Make sure we're getting into it. Oh yeah, there we go. It's right here. Alright, cool. We'll just log out the message. Error.message. So, status 404, right? That's what we're getting. Cool. That's about all, right? So now we can go ahead and use this really wherever, right? We could say like, data. We could use this many times. So now we've encapsulated this hook that is very portable. It's very efficient, and it's very clean, right? I like this. One last thing that we could do, and I don't know if it's necessary here, but this is like our component will unmount, and this is like our finally, right? We could just say console.log, component will unmount, right? And we're seeing that again. It's not going to run here because it's hit this this throw statement, right? But we see if we actually get it, and why did it not run? Let me see. Try catch fetch data. Let me just see. What's not start turn anything. Turn a function here, and why did it not try catch? And let me see. Last thing, give it a catch, and then here let's give it a finally. Log finished request. Finish request, and then fetch data, and we'll just say const data or d equals await. Oh yeah, can't do that there. Kind of curious why it's not running return cleanup. I'm actually a little curious why it's not running the return. I think it's because I'm not having it update on anything, right? Oh, wait, fetch data. Oh no, fix that. And then console.log component will unmount. That's a little weird. Why is it not? Data URL. Okay, so I think it needs to actually have some state change in here. So we can just say const has fetched, set has fetched, and then we'll say useState false, and then what do we want to do? Has fetched. Let's run this. So it's still running one time, and finally we'll just set has fetched to true. And let's see, commit will amount, so it ran one time, but it also ran this hook one time. That's not what we want. Let's see. So I think we could actually do this, right? We could say if not has fetched, fetch data. Let's see. Okay, cool. And that also gives us our component will unmount. That's a way to optimize it even more right there. If not has fetched, fetch data. And you can see it's still running just one time. Nice. And then we can just say return. We can just say data.length, and then we can say loading right there, right? Pretty quick. Loading. And why isn't the data going? Console.log data. Data.length. What? What the heck? Oh wait, React.memo. I wonder if it works with that. No, I don't think it works with that. Props. React.memo. Let me see. It could be the memo. Let me see. I don't use memo a whole lot. Let me just check this out. Huh. That's interesting. I like this. Data, right? Okay. Oh shit, that's why. It's not an array, it's an object, right? Yeah, okay, so and we'll say return data. We'll just say return object.values data.length, and then we'll say data, and we'll just say loading. And that's what it is. I think we can pop back on the React.memo right here. Clean that up. There we go. Loading. There you go. Data here. Just to clean that up a little bit, we could just wrap this in code. There we go. Cool. Alright guys, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I can go ahead and maybe put this up on GitHub. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later.